Once upon a time, in a small village, there lived an elderly woman known by everyone as Dadi Ma. She had silver hair and a face full of gentle wrinkles, but her eyes sparkled with a unique kindness and warmth. The villagers loved her dearly because she was always happy, no matter how difficult life became. She lived alone in a small house under a beautiful banyan tree. She had no children, and her husband had passed away many years ago, but she never complained. She would sit under the tree, talk to people, and always greet life with a smile. Life in the village was not easy. The crops would dry up without rain, people would fall ill, and job security was always uncertain. But one thing was certain about Dadi Ma. She never lost hope. Her words brought peace to those around her, and she helped people ease their burdens just by listening and sharing her wisdom. One day, a young woman named Amina came to Dadi Ma, her face wet with tears and her heart full of worry. She said, "Dadi Ma, my husband went to the city to find work, but he hasn't sent any money. My children are hungry, and I am so scared. What if he can't find work? What if he forgets us?" Dadi Ma looked at Amina with a soft gaze and said, "Come, sit with me and tell me. What are you thinking?" Amina wiped her tears and said, "I don't know. I feel like something bad is going to happen. What if my husband can't find work? What if he forgets about us?" Dadi Ma gently shook her head. "Amina, when we think negative thoughts, our hearts become heavier. But when we think positive thoughts, we feel better. Sometimes positive thoughts bring good things into our lives," Amina said. "But how can I think good thoughts when everything is so bad?" Dadi Ma smiled and said, "Let me tell you a story." Amina listened with interest, and Dadi Ma began. Once there was a poor man who had nothing. Not food, not money, not family. He sat by the river, crying. An old woman came to him and asked, "Why are you crying?" The man said, "I have nothing. How can I be happy?" The old woman smiled and said, "You have the river, you have the trees, you have the sun. Look around you. There is beauty in life everywhere. If you focus on what you don't have, you will always be sad. But if you focus on what you do have, you will find peace." The man listened to her, and slowly he stopped crying. He began to see the beauty around him, and from that day, his life started to change. Dadi Ma looked at Amina and said, "You see, dear, the man's life didn't change because of magic. It changed because he changed his thinking. When we think positively, our hearts feel lighter, and we are better able to face challenges." Amina thought deeply and asked, "Do you think my thinking can really change my life?" Dadi Ma smiled warmly and said, "Yes, my dear. If you wake up every morning and tell yourself, 'Today will be a good day,' you will find the strength to work, care for your children, and wait for your husband with hope. But if you always think about what could go wrong, you will feel sad and weak." Amina nodded and said, "I understand. I will try to think good thoughts from now on." "That's the first step," Dadi Ma said. Amina left Dadi Ma's house with a lighter heart. Every day she remembered Dadi Ma's words. She woke up each morning and told herself, "Today will be a good day." She worked hard, cared for her children, and prayed for her husband's return. A few weeks later, Amina received a letter from her husband. He had found work in the city and was sending money back home. Amina was overjoyed and rushed to Dadi Ma's house to share the news. Dadi Ma smiled and nodded. "You see, my dear, when we think positively, good things come into our lives. Challenges will always come, but if we face them with hope, we can overcome them." Soon, other villagers started hearing about Dadi Ma's wise words. Many came to her, sharing their problems. She gave them the same advice. Think good thoughts, and good things will come. The villagers loved her even more, as her wisdom began to change their lives. She had taught them that life can change, not by magic, but by changing the way we think.